Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a little chat on how to dislike great music. Why am I talking about this? Well, I think it's important because part of learning how to love great music is learning how to be honest with yourself and with others about what your tastes are, what your preferences are, and how you feel. Because that way you'll find the music that you love best. And really that's what this is all about. This is not about proving that classical music is like the most important thing culturally in the universe and we're all going to die without it. I mean, it's showing you how to find the things that are going to enrich your life in the way that's most meaningful for you, and how not to have an attitude about it, how to have simple enjoyment and pleasure in the act of listening. That's my goal. That's what I'm about. And I've made several videos. I'm going to talk about a few of them, which have occasioned some controversy, but reactions which are really very interesting. And, I've deleted most of those comments. Maybe I should have left them because so many of them were just obnoxious and hostile. But I get rid of most of them because I just don't think that they're productive. But it's worth mentioning what the general tenor and demeanor of people is when they encounter these videos and how they respond to it, because it amazes me, just amazes me how defensive and humorless and just plain miserable people are when confronted with somebody's different taste. I mean, we all have different tastes. What's the big deal? Who cares, right? But people do, and they care a lot. And it's going to influence your approach to the music because you're going to encounter people who are going to have attitude. And I think it helps to sort of put it all in perspective, which is what I'm going to try and do with this little chat. Now, one of those videos that caused hysteria was my Bach problem. And this is where I talk about the fact that I'm not a huge lover of Bach's music. I respect it tremendously. I understand it, I believe. And I enjoy quite a bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of it that I think is just marvelous. And I talk about that regularly. But it's not in my top 10. And, it doesn't have to be, right? What's the big deal? Well, oh my God, what a big deal. First of all, there is the exaggeration thing. I say I have a Bach problem, and I did a video about it. And I thought it was a pretty balanced video. And I always get a response as, well, you hate Bach. You just hate him. It's ridiculous. Why would I even say such a thing like that? I don't hate anybody. I really don't. And we're talking about music. It's entertainment. It's for pleasure. I either like it or I don't like it. But do I hate it? Do I get it? No. Of course I don't hate Bach. But I've seen that. I've seen that more than a dozen times since I posted that video. Oh, you hate Bach. This accusatory thing. And so there's something wrong with me. You are defective because you hate Bach, and Bach is the be-all and end-all, et cetera, et cetera. And the corollary to that is you hate Bach and I love him. Therefore, you are a mindless, worthless drip, vulgar fool, and I'm brilliant and cultured and wonderful and delightful, and I have superior intellect and taste and cultivation. And we're always going to encounter that, aren't we? People whose self-worth is somehow validated by the fact that they can say that they like certain composers or certain wines or certain things that are supposed to be at higher levels. And, frankly, people like that don't understand anything of what they claim to like, as far as I'm concerned, 9 times out of 10, because the reason that they're enjoying it, the reason that they claim to enjoy it or they're listening to it is because of the self-importance it gives them, not because they appreciate it for what it is, 9 times out of 10. But that video occasioned a whole fusillade of accusations and really meanness just because I'm being honest about what my taste is. And I'm just saying, so when you start to go through the world of classical music, you will encounter people who will be very mean because you might say, well, I don't like something. Or then there was the video I had about 10 pieces I don't get. I just don't understand them. They don't strike me. They don't move me. One of them was the Mozart Requiem. Oh, the hysteria that ensued over that, and a bunch of others. Well, again, it's you don't get it. There's something wrong with you. I get it. I'm better than you are. Fine. If people want to think they're better than I am because they claim to understand something that I don't find particularly appealing, knock yourself out. But you have to have a certain courage of your conviction to be able to say, okay, yes, I accept the fact that it's a classic, that many people adore it, that it may be great music. I don't make any judgment about whether it's great music. God knows whether it's Bach or Mozart or anybody else. I have no interest in whether it's great or not. All I care is whether or not I like it. And that's what you should care about too, whether or not you like it. And you should not like things fearlessly, but on the other side. And here we go. There was the video about 3 composers we could do without. And I had a very, very specific mandate in that. My idea was to pick 3 composers whose the absence of which would not change music history as we understand it. In other words, they didn't matter in terms of the grand historical arc of what we value and what our things are. I was just fooling around, people who, and one of them was Fasch, Johann Friedrich Fasch, the German composer. Oh, all the fascists came after me. My God. It was crazy. Oh, he really wrote great music. Oh, my God. I wasn't arguing about that. All I was saying was that, well, if he had never existed, the universe would not have changed notably. And I wanted you to pick one from each period. Well, this was just opened a whole Pandora's box of, let me tell you who I hate. I hate Rachmaninoff. I hate Mahler. I hate Wagner. I hate this. I hate that. It was not about what you hate. It had nothing to do with whether you like something. It was about your ability or our ability to distance ourselves and look at the history of music with a certain objectivity. To be able to say, even though I may really like this, it doesn't have to be the most important thing in the world. It doesn't have to be a life or death situation. It's just something I happen to like, and if it didn't exist, well, I would have liked something else. Not a big deal, right? Well, it was a big deal for a lot of people, and it's a very, very interesting psychological phenomenon, I think. I mean, that's why I do these things. I do these things to sort of probe where people are. And most of you who are subscribers, who know this channel and know me, you understand what we're all doing and what the point of this is and how we're all here to share and participate in a love of the broadest kind of music that we can. And every so often, we have moments where we get to talk about the things we dislike as well as the things we like, because, without stupid people, there would be no smart ones, right? I mean, that's what we're saying. Without, the opposite of something, we wouldn't know what the other thing is. And that's the idea. The idea is to form a taste and have an opinion, an informed opinion, a musical opinion, an opinion based on serious listening and based on an honest evaluation of your own feelings about what a piece of music does for you. I mean, there was another video I did called The Leader Problem, My Leader Problem. I mean, where I talk about Lieder and the whole horrible classical music snot culture about songs. And that was interesting because, nobody cares about Lieder particularly. Classical songs are a niche of a niche of a niche of a niche of a niche. And so, although there were some very passionate remarks of disapproval about my points about the Lieder culture, most people didn't really chime in on that. I didn't think I get that much comments about those, and I didn't, so that was good. I felt pretty good about that. I mean, it confirmed my notion that this is just a niche that nobody pays much attention to, and that is going to, of course, cause more hysteria, the fact that I just said that, but there you go. But the one that really got me, the one that I really found fascinating, is the Classical Music's 10 Greatest Secrets, which has to be the best article I ever did. It was originally an article on classicstoday.com, where it still exists. And I made a video about it, and I turned them all into little shorts because people were doing it. And those 10 dirtiest secrets. Liszt is trash. It's a good thing that that we lost all of the rest of Bach's cantatas. Wagner is better if you cut it. Schoenberg is difficult no matter what he wrote. It doesn't get any easier. Things like that. Everyone listens to the Symphonie Fantastique for the last two movements. You can ignore the first three. Just things that I've come by in my peregrinations through the classical music world. And the whole thing was intended as a joke, obviously. If you have to explain a joke, of course, it isn't funny anymore. But people took that so seriously. On the one hand, I got, thank you for confirming my feeling that Liszt is trash. I love Liszt. It's a secret. I do. I've done a lot of Liszt videos. I promoted Liszt. I've written papers about Liszt. I think he's fascinating. One of the most fascinating figures in all of music. And he wrote tons of terrific music. But he had strengths and weaknesses, and you should be able to discuss them dispassionately, objectively, with a little bit of freedom and fairness. Oh my goodness, what hysteria. So on the one hand, there were the people who hate me because they think I hate Liszt. And then there were the people who love me because they hate Liszt. And all of it was beside the point. And it was true of all of the other dirty secrets that you guys have hung up on. I mean, it's been fascinating to see the response to this thing. But what's been missing, a lot of you, of course, just saw it and knew that I was kidding around and we were all having a good time. But so many people had no sense of humor whatsoever. And I think one of the most important things to have in this entire process is a sense of humor. Not to take yourself so damn seriously. Good heavens. Who do you think you are? That the universe revolves around you and your taste and and anyone who disagrees with you is wrong and evil and terrible. And wow, just learn to laugh a little, to laugh at yourself, to laugh at the music, to laugh at these artists who are so full of themselves today, the living ones and the dead ones, the composers with their bizarre lives and the stupid things they say and the ridiculous things they did. The only thing that matters is that they wrote great music. And it's there for us to enjoy and or not. And wow. So I'm doing this video as a kind of summary of where we are in our program to understand how to love great music and how to dislike the music that we don't love. To do it in a way which is just normal. It's normal. It's a normal thing. It's part of our natural feeling for the world and how we interact with cultural objects and things that are supposed to amuse and entertain and give us pleasure. And the fact that this is done with such hostility and desperation is something that just blows my mind. It always has. Ever since I started out in this business, I knew. I'd always known people. Of course, I know people who are very passionate, and it's wonderful to be passionate. Passion is a great thing. But to be spiteful and hateful and humorless and all about someone's opinion about a piece of music is just such a freaking waste of time and mental energy. And there it is. It's out there. And so I just want to say to all of you subscribers and not subscribers and new people who are coming to classical music, have no fear, but know that it's there to be laughed at, to be enjoyed, to be scoffed at and enjoyed. It does everything. It offers you the complete gamut of reactions and emotional responses, and they're all perfectly legitimate as long as you do it with a little bit of humility and you have the intellectual honesty, I think, and emotional honesty to be able to say, yes, this work of Bach is a magnificent, great work of music, and it does nothing for me. That's the way it is. It's okay. Maybe someday it will. You never know. But you shouldn't, on the one hand, don't wall yourself off from the possibility that it may sometime strike you as the greatest thing since sliced bread. But on the other hand, don't feel that there's something wrong with you if you don't like something, or that someone else is better than you or knows more than you because you're new or you're just starting, or you are who you are, and what you are is okay. Period. And that's just the message I want to leave with everybody, newcomers and veterans alike, because I don't know. So there was a recent comment that just sort of set me off, and so I wanted to just talk about this and share it with you. And I hope you don't mind that I blather on a bit about these things. So keep on listening, friends. Just keep on listening with an open mind, an open heart, and a fearless critical faculty and honesty about your own feelings, because they're okay. They're good. Take care.